Well, hey everybody, and welcome to our live Google Hangout so we can discuss Toy Story That Time Forgot and get some fun feedback from people. So we're going to actually, before we get started, like usual, if you have any comments, we have I'm going to actually open it up right here, a question and answer. So if you're watching this on Google+, all you need to do is actually ask your questions right within Google+, and they'll show up on our side. If you happen to be watching it on either YouTube and or Twitter, you can comment on YouTube, or you can use the hashtag down below there, TSTTF, as short for Toy Story That Time Forgot. So that way we can get some feedback and additional comments and thoughts of what you thought from the short. So we're going to actually talk through our view of the short. We're going to talk about some of the things that we liked. We're going to consolidate some of the feedback that we've heard from different readers and viewers out there. And then we're also going to go through some of the Easter eggs from Toy Story That Time Forgot as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. So
yeah, tons.
A ton.
Yeah,
and we keep finding more.
Yeah, you were spotting an absolute ton of them.
Oh my gosh. It's like every time I watch the short, because we've watched it quite a few times now, I keep finding them.
Yeah. So, okay, so first off, what did you think overall? I mean, obviously we did our review post already, but what were your thoughts as far as the short?
I really enjoyed it.
I should call it a special.
Yes, special, TV special. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the fact that this film was not centered around Buzz and Woody. I actually forgot about Buzz and Woody. I was so intrigued by the new characters, the Battlesaurs, the cleric, which we'll get to because he is our favorite character.
Yes, absolutely.
But I really enjoyed, I think Pixar did a phenomenal job with this story to make us forget that Buzz and Woody were even part of it. And when they showed up, I was like, get off the screen. I want to see more Trixie or Rex or the Battlesaurs. And as everyone has emailed and shared their viewing thoughts with us, Angel Kitty, everyone seems to love. But yeah, I really thought that Pixar did a phenomenal job showing us these new characters as well as secondary characters rather than featured or focus on Buzz and Woody.
Well, that's interesting that you say that, because a lot of people have said throughout, through comments and such, that they actually they felt like it moves too far away from the central Buzz and Woody characters.
Oh no, I think that's what makes this special. I think that's what moves this series, these tunes and shorts and specials further.
Okay.
It can't always be around Buzz and Woody. Buzz and Woody aren't the only toys in Bonnie's Toy Box.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
yeah.
I mean, and I loved the Battlesaurs. I mean, we know that there's a couple of them for sale, the Raptorian guards, but there were so many different ones. There was like the big guys with the big faces.
Right, the guy that threw, pipe down you, and he threw the Angel Kitty's horn in the...
Yeah, there's Raygon. There's no Raygon toy.
There needs to be a Raygon toy.
I just love all those new characters. I'm glad that the short was able to focus on them rather than Buzz and Woody.
Yeah, absolutely. So what would you say you give it, just like at a high level, 1 to 10, 10 being best?
I'd give it a solid 9. I really enjoyed it. And I enjoyed Toy Story of Terror. I enjoyed Toy Story That Time Forgot more.
I actually did too. And I was actually kind of surprised by that. I was thinking, we enjoyed Toy Story of Terror so much. How could it expand or go further with that? And it absolutely did. We thought that, well, at least I felt that it was not as, and this isn't a bad thing by saying this about Toy Story of Terror, but I thought Toy Story That Time Forgot was a little bit less rushed.
Yeah, I was left wanting more still.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm just talking about the overall pacing of it. I still wanted more.
I agree that Toy Story of Terror seems like you wanted it to go slower.
Yeah, there was a lot going on.
The build-up of everything.
Right.
Yeah, so, I agree with that.
Yeah, but yeah, Toy Story That Time Forgot, I absolutely loved it. I would agree with you. I'd give it a 9 out of 10. Thought it was fantastic. Actually, we're seeing a couple more people pop up in the views. So just to refresh, if anybody has any comments or questions and you're watching this on Google+, you can go ahead and leave your comments right on the side or right within your Google+ window, and we will go ahead and answer them. If you happen to be watching this on YouTube, you can type your comments below. Or if you're on Twitter, you can use the hashtag TSTFF, like down below there, and we will be monitoring that and answering any questions and or comments We'd like to know your thoughts too of what what you thought of the short. So let us know. So as far as some of the initial feedback that we heard, there was one thing that was overwhelmingly just mentioned again and again and again, and you talked about it already. You alluded to it, was Angel Kitty. By far, Angel Kitty, and they call it Kittysaurus because that's what Bonnie called her. So Kittysaurus. You've got what else did they call her? Oh, some people called her
Angel Cat,
Cat Angel, Kitty Angel, all over the place. But yes, Angel Kitty is the official name, and I will tell you that was 80% of the comments was that people wanted to see more Angel Kitty, and in fact, I saw some people at Pixar retweeting posts where they said people wanted Angel Kitty in Toy Story 4. So I thought that was kind of cool. People
were already saying if Toy Story 4 is anything like Toy Story that Time Forgot, we're in for a treat.
Yeah, absolutely.
However, I don't know. I don't think these characters will be in Toy Story 4.
I don't think so either.
I think this is just a separate thing. Although it made me think about, is the love story Bonnie's mom and Mason's dad? Was the dad that answered the door? Is that a single dad? Is Bonnie a single mom? I was thinking too much.
Wow, yeah, we really don't know. But yeah, that's an interesting thought too. But
and then you have the love story is Reptilis and Trixie.
Yeah, I think it's going to stick just
separate. I think it'll be separate too. But
as much as people wanted Angel Kitty and want Angel Kitty to be in Toy Story 4, I don't think it'll happen myself. And
we did have someone just leave a comment just saying how much their family loved it. He just said they just finished watching it, and he and their family loved the new characters. So
great.
We did too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So the other, in addition to Angel Kitty being number 1, number 2 was well, in fact, I even wrote it down here. The backpack. People were dying over Bonnie's backpack.
Are you kidding me? Like I'm going to figure out how to make this if it's not produced. I literally already saw myself getting the clear pleather to make the window hatch. It needs to be made.
I know. And
I don't want just Angel Kitty in an ornament. I'd like to have a plush.
Oh, absolutely.
This big.
And you had a thought. Where's it going to be produced?
I've had a lot of thoughts.
But where's Angel Kitty, what you think is going to be produced? What store?
The Disney store?
Yeah. That's
what yeah. If it was going to be produced, I don't think it would be a Mattel or a Thinkway. I think Disney store.
Right. And I think I think that'd be perfect because they do so good with recreating them now.
Oh gosh, I know.
That it would look really
phenomenal.
Great. Right. So that was one, and then the third request that was coming through was for Reptilis Maximus. People wanted more Reptilis. They wanted more toys, so we responded to some of them and said, "Hey, the toys are out there for Reptilis." And then we had several comments. You can see them just in the boxes back here. We did our review for the Toy Story of Terror Thinkway versions of Buzz and Woody, and people are saying, "I want Reptilis in that." And
yes, that size.
How cool would that look?
That would be awesome.
To be in that scale versus the
tiny one,
the Mattel version,
which is still amazing.
Oh yeah, the Mattel versions are great. Don't get us wrong, but if you can get a huge Thinkway version, you're gonna want that for sure. But yeah, the Mattel versions are fun too. There's no question there. So I thought that was kind of cool. But let's go back to, well, I'm sorry, I'm stopping myself. The one character that I want produced more than anything, Raygon.
He's your favorite, I think.
Well, because he's like, I love all the quirky little characters. We talked about it before. I love all those little yes. And I like how he's talking to Bonnie and he's going like this and he's putting all the stuff on her. Do you even have to ask? And then at the end when Cleric says, bring me the supplicator, and he's like, oh yes, the supplicator. It's just such a cool character. Absolutely love it. Great design, great voice.
I agree with the voice. The voice casting was perfect on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I was going to say back on Angel Kitty, though, one of the things, another comment that we saw cultivated out there that was pretty consistent was, wait a minute, what was that? Was Angel Kitty a figment of their imagination? Or what was she? How come she disappeared. She just went and she was gone.
To me, I think, well, Bonnie was playing with her, but it also makes you think, like, was Bonnie just using her imagination? Because every thought that Angel Kitty said was like things that we should all kind of think about, was just nice sayings.
Right. Had the Christmassy vibe to it.
Yeah, but just
the
kind of makes
innocence.
you think and stuff. So at the end, I thought it was really fitting. I just thought it was kind of sweet that they made her or him disappear.
Okay.
I liked that part.
So you think it's Bonnie's imagination?
I kind of do, yeah.
Okay. Well, I happen to think that, boy, I don't know. I go back and forth.
And I
with it all
don't
the
think it's
time.
something that we're supposed to really think twice about. I think it's supposed to be like, oh,
No, I think we're supposed to think about it. She vanished.
yeah, but I think it's supposed to be like, oh, okay, well, those things that Angel Kitty said are things that we should all kind of think about. And like
I guess it
how
just-
we should all kind of be
I
towards
guess
each
it
other.
would represent that she is really an angel. Just drop
Yeah.
down. Just drop down to help.
I think it's just
formulate
like kind of
thoughts.
like a subliminal things, because every time that she would mention something, it was just kind of subliminal messages. They were all nice things,
Sure,
how to treat each other and stuff. And
sure.
that's what I take it as.
Okay, yeah, no, absolutely.
Kind of like that voice in your head that tells you to do good things, not the bad voice that tells you to do bad things.
So what would, if you had to say, like, what would a favorite part be? And for anybody that happens to be watching, let us know what your favorite moment from the short was.
Oh,
again,
I have one.
Again, use the hashtag TSTTF or leave a comment directly on Google Plus or on YouTube. And I think we saw one that came in there. We'll have to check that in just a second. But okay, so what was your favorite moment?
Okay, well, I have two.
Okay.
I love the cleric. The cleric is my favorite. And first off, Steve Purcell, genius.
The vocal work.
Genius. I mean,
So who's Steve Purcell?
Steve Purcell was the director. He also wrote the film, but he did the cleric's voice. And I so wish, I mean, we say this a lot about a lot of things. We could be like a fly on the wall and like watch this. I wish I could see how he was doing it, especially at the end when he had everyone hanging above the vent with the spinning fan. And he was like,
He had the crazy
the
laugh.
craziest.
He had the eyes that were going all nuts.
Oh
and
my
everything.
gosh, that part I just love, because that to me was like, oh my god, it just felt like awesome.
Right.
I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
But the other part that I liked also involved the cleric, and it was actually more of the animation side. I love how the cleric moves. He's got wheels, and we've all had toys that have wheels, but like a flat base, and they kind of
Yeah, you could.
They-
Yeah, on the
and
floor.
and one wheel kind of squeaks
Yeah.
a little. That to me was so authentic that I was like sold.
Well, what about when he got up to his little?
Yes, and the feet were already there.
Yeah, and it like clicked in. It was like you
Yes.
heard it click in.
Yes.
Like a toy would.
Yes,
Just so awesome.
I know. It kind of reminds me of like the old He-Man things
Oh,
from like
totally.
the 80s.
Yeah.
It's like the Snake Mountain play set and stuff. You Google it. It's very similar to it.
Okay.
And there was, gosh, what was the other? It was He-Man, and there was another one. I can't remember the
Okay.
other play sets and stuff, but the whole Battleopolis thing, it just reminded me of those kind of figures.
Yeah. So many people. We also saw a lot of comments for people that were saying, "Oh my God, I want all those toys. I want the full set. I want Battleopolis.
I want it.
Oh, I absolutely. We need it."
Need it.
So really, really good. I would say.
What was your favorite part now that I've rambled on?
No, that's fine. One of my favorite parts was just the line, and we tweeted it out last night too, was where Reptilus says, your prickly pants is a wise prophet. Love that line. Just great. Hit it on the head with the humor there.
I will, if I can interrupt you for a second. I love Brave now. I mean, obviously, if you're a fan of the site, you know that Brave is like one of my favorite, if not my favorite Pixar film. I was really worried how Kevin McKidd's voice, if I was going to be able to separate the two.
Well, because who did he voice?
Lord MacGuffin and
Young
MacGuffin.
Right.
So I was really worried that I was going to, when Reptilis Maximus spoke, that I was only going to see MacGuffin.
Right.
And I
was-
didn't.
Not at all.
Not at all. Like it was really easy for me to separate them.
I think it came down to because with Lord and Young MacGuffin, they weren't big major roles,
But
and he was also doing that Doric accent. So I think
still, for someone who like me who loves Brave, like I love
Right.
Brave,
We
like
know.
like it's hard to like hear another voice that was in that film. It's kind of like if you like Seinfeld, any Seinfeld voice, you're only going to see that Seinfeld character, or Friends, you're only going to see Friends. You know what I mean?
What's the deal with pants? Come on, people.
So I thought that I was only going to see MacGuffin
Right.
and not Reptilis, but
You didn't.
I didn't. It was
I know
so
he was so good.
yes, that was my only reservation for the whole film. So I was so happy that I didn't
Yeah. No, absolutely.
like Brave wasn't popping in.
Yeah. So, yeah, I would say that line was probably my favorite line. Animation wise, I hate to say it, but it was also in that scene where Reptilis jumps down and how he does that kind of like 180 sideways flip and then lands on the ground, twirls his little.
Yeah,
That just
was awesome.
awesome. I love the animation on it.
The animation in the short was, I mean, phenomenal. And I don't know if any of you, if our viewers saw our post a few days ago, but Toy Story That Time Forgot received 7 Annie nominations, multiple categories. I believe it's like character development. 3 animation people were, 3 animation artists were nominated.
Right.
It was within 5 categories, which is amazing. Steve Purcell is actually also up for writing.
Yeah.
And the editorial department as well.
Yeah, I didn't pay enough attention to the directing awards there, but I would have liked to have seen him in there too. I loved some of the angles when the Goliathon was brought in and how the camera was kind of shifting down and then pointing up. Just great. Speaking of animation, how I said when Reptilis came in, I really liked that. I also loved when I'm sorry, we just had a message pop up there, but I loved when Buzz and Woody were fighting with Reptilis as well. It was just so great how it was the best of all those characters. It was those tried and true Buzz Lightyear, really tight, quick motions where he would come and pounce into the fighting action, whereas Woody was all like, woo, springy, and he stretched a little bit more and just looked a little bit more fabricy and soft like he is. And then just on Buzz's helmet and whoosh back.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
I loved whoever came up with that. It was kind of like a little gag.
Yeah.
It was really, it just kind of made me smile.
Right.
It was clever.
Yeah, absolutely. So, oops.
Sorry about that.
What was I going to say? Oh, about the music. Okay, so Giacchino, there was a couple moments in there near the end with the very heartfelt moment. So Michael Giacchino, who scored, he's going to be doing Inside Out. He did
Toy Story of Terror.
Toy Story of Terror. He did The Incredibles. He did some amazing music for this. It was very poignant when it needed to be poignant. It was very energetic and powerful during the battle scenes. Great, what you expect during like a gladiator style battle. But we also loved in the ending, right when the heartfelt moment into the credits, totally sounded like Danny Elfman.
You know what? It really, really did. And you're talking about when lights are out, everyone's sleeping, and Reptilis is going
it's like the music box that's going.
You actually said it reminded you a lot of Edward Scissorhands.
Which he did, yeah. Yeah, it especially when they're playing with him and it's that slow motion and you can hear like that choir singing.
Okay,
that
now
was Danny Elfman all the way.
The slow motion where Reptilis is like this.
Right.
Now, did that remind you of any Toy Story film?
Of course, it's when Andy's playing with Woody.
And it reminded me of
Jessie playing with Bonnie, or not Bonnie. Why is my brain stopping? Who's the...
just blew my mind now that you just were starting to say it.
Yeah.
Okay, but it reminded me of it.
Right. Yeah, you're right. It was that same kind of slow motion spinning.
Yes.
Yeah, very heartfelt moment. Yeah, Toy Story of Terror didn't have that kind of heartfelt moment, whereas this had that, where, Reptilis had that really great voice again, where he's like, "It's about surrender."
Yes.
It's just like, wow, like that's some good stuff right there. So then he falls back, and there was a couple people that talked about that online too. They said like, well, how would Reptilis, or why would he all of a sudden, if he didn't really realize that he was a toy? But
why did they all go to toy mode when the lights went on?
Right, and that's been discussed since the Toy Story.
To me, you're not supposed to think about it. It's just
I've
what
always just
happened.
looked at it like if they're part of this series, if they're toys, that's ingrained in them. It's deeper than what their mind even knows.
Mhm.
You know, it's one of those things where it's like an animal comes out, they, you know, a big cat, they just know that they're hunters.
Right.
So it's just deeply ingrained, and I think it overrides everything else. So yeah, so we love the score for sure. Do you want to start taking a look at some of the Easter eggs?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start digging into some of the Easter eggs. Let me go ahead and start screen sharing here. I'm going to pull this up. Just give me just a moment. Okay, I'm going to start this here. All right.
We have a couple people that are saying their favorite scenes.
Okay, so go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and stop
I have
this real
two
quick.
people on two different avenues that are saying their favorite scenes were when Reptilis is fighting Buzz and Woody and the crayon in the slow motion.
Gives it that 300 blood kind of
Yes.
spatter with the crayon breaking apart.
Yes. So that someone is saying that that was their favorite scene, along with a couple people saying that the sock monkey, that they found humor in that, which you know, we've seen a couple different people that were either for it or against it. I thought it was funny. I mean,
Well, yeah, and obviously it adds to the creepiness with his mouth all sewn shut like that.
Right.
It adds to that, like he's really like a beast.
and
then,
the noise and stuff that he was making.
yeah,
that-
yeah, really cool. And then, yeah, when he starts getting tore apart, you're like, eee.
Get out of there.
But then I did see a couple tweets. It was great last night when we were going back and forth looking through them. But somebody said, "Oh, I'm so glad that the sock monkey's okay at the end."
I was
when they
too.
show him in the credits. Yeah, you feel like you need to
You're
see
like,
him
"Oh."
again, right? Yeah, but that part was
And the
cool.
penguin from EcoForce.
The Eco Forest gang. Yeah, you know what's funny is back at San Diego Comic-Con when they were talking about this originally, or was that D23 last year that it first was announced, they started talking about all of the different layers of this. You can tell from even reading the side of that box back there where it talks about the Talon Star and all these other things. There is so much more to this short than what was even shown by far. This could have been much longer.
Yes, and I cannot wait till it is released so we can get all the background information, just like Toy Story of Terror, as well as like the vintage commercials. Now, I know there was a vintage commercial for the Battle Swords that was released at D23
Right.
last year. We'd love to see it.
Yeah. So what did you think of their theme song?
Oh, it
Fun.
was perfectly 80s.
Yeah.
Battle Swords.
Yeah, good stuff for sure. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start pulling this up. So we'll take a look at some of the Easter eggs that are hidden and then the post that you had done here.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so.
So yeah, these screenshots, the screenshot that you guys are seeing right now, the one that is on the tree, I don't know if that's a screenshot, but it really just reminded me of the ending moon in La Luna. Now the ending moon was actually flipped. It was actually going the other way. But when I saw that, I thought of La Luna.
Sure.
And since that was like a more recent short, not that it needs to be more recent, it just reminded me of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course, we have Knick Knack.
Right. And
Which-
in his full snow globe and everything. It wasn't like he was even just out of there. That was really cool.
Well, it fits so perfectly. All we're missing is the mermaid's not there with them.
Right.
But he fits so seamlessly in the scene that we honestly almost missed him.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And then he's shown real at the end there too.
Yeah, and then that guy just looks like a For the Birds.
It absolutely looks like it would be like a candy or like a candy molded version of For the Birds.
Mhm.
The birds, with all the well, that was like the other
From the
ones.
short.
Yeah. So it's harder to see on this. It's going to be grainy when I zoom it in here.
Yeah, we're
but-
trying to get higher resolution pictures, but on this train in Bonnie's house is the Luxo ball.
Right. You can see that one there. You can also see the Luxo ball here on the package. It's on all the Battle Source packages. It's, of course, the signature ball, and it says in blue lettering underneath it, Luxo. So that was really cool.
Oh, and this scene, it's littered with things. Now, I'm looking at some of these buildings too, because I'm sure that one of them is something that we just haven't figured out yet.
Yeah, it seems like it would be like Incredibles or like a city or something.
I just feel like one of those Lego buildings is probably modeled after Hidden City Cafe, which is no longer there.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
I just haven't figured it out yet. So we have the famed Pizza Planet truck.
Right, he's made out of Legos up there.
Yep, and then down below there is the train from Toy Story 3.
Now, at what point is that in the film?
The very beginning.
Okay, so it's like when they're doing their
Dream
scene,
sequence,
right? Where the evil Doctor's pork chop in the spaceship comes and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so then this one is hard to see right here. We're gonna definitely get this one bigger, but in this scene where Bonnie turns around and goes into the room where Mason is playing his Optimum X, in the upper right-hand corner, you can see Mr. Jones from Toy Story of Terror, and Mr. Jones is the iguana. And we're going to actually end up updating our post, the Easter egg post, with some more of the screenshots from the original source as well. So that way you can compare it once we can get crisper ones or more crisp ones for this.
Yes, but this is my favorite Easter egg. When I seriously saw this, I geeked out. I was like, oh my gosh, that's a great one.
Right. And for people that can't see it or haven't seen it yet, it looks like it doesn't look like it's the scene where Jessie is sneaking by right after Combat Carl gives her the whole pep talk. Jessie, never gives up. Jessie finds a way and he says, okay, now be quiet. And she goes sneaking out. It's where Mr. Jones is sleeping on his log with the heat light on him. So this next one here, you'll see in the upper right-hand corner, again, it's kind of blocked by this building here, this little bridge, but there's a Transitron poster, again, from Toy Story of Terror. So pretty cool there. The other thing you'll notice is down here, we don't have it circled. We're going to update this one. This one was actually noted by Antoine, whose username is Gray Catbird, and he's the one that we've talked about before is like an Easter egg, just genius.
Mm-hmm.
He noticed this down here, and this is some memory recall in my book. This white truck is actually the ambulance from the opening of the movie Up, where young Carl falls and breaks his arm right before he goes in the hospital, and that is in the movie Up for maybe 3 seconds, if 2 seconds, and he remembered that, and we compared it and it's dead on. So we're going to be updating that. And then you had spotted this one.
Yeah, this police car, actually, it just reminded me of the police car at the end of Toy Story of Terror. It has the same kind of lettering that goes sideways, and the lights were in the same position. It just reminded me of it. I don't know if it is modeled after it, but I know they do use models, scale them down. It just reminded me of it. So.
Sure. Okay, so in this one, you can actually see a little bit of your favorite clownfish friend, Finding Nemo, Mr. Nemo there, from Finding Nemo. And on the back side of this, swimming down, on the other side,
on the inside of it.
Right, on the inside, you don't see it from here, is Dory swimming downward. So that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a nice little surprise.
And there's also another Easter egg in this. On the blue board game, it says For the Birds on it.
Right.
You can't see it because the screenshot is blurry, but in the actual short, you can see it.
So then, okay, so let's go through these. This has quite the myriad. I have gone back and forth driving myself nuts. So if anybody watching knows this purple wrestler head, I can't remember where I've seen that, but I feel like I've seen it. But let's go through the rest of them. So you have the starfish here.
Which I noticed almost immediately that was one of the bath toys that cartwheels into the bath in Partysaurus Rex.
Right, and then you have what we believe to be
Pocketeer's foot.
Pocketeer's foot from Toy Story of Terror. On this side, you have Combat Carl's arm. It's quite unfortunate for Mr. Combat Carl. In Toy Story of Terror, he loses his hand, and now in this, he's got a whole arm missing.
I know, and we looked at our toy of Combat Carl, and the hand and the arm is exactly the same. So that is why we are making our assumption.
Right, and then this one we've got to give to forum user Mac95, who's Aiden, and he remembered that this sunflower was most likely from the Pencil Topper sequence, which was a deleted scene from Toy Story of Terror. And that is actually, he pulled up a screenshot of it right here and posted it on the forum as well. So pretty cool.
I know, my goodness. Thank you, Aiden.
Yeah, isn't that awesome? So, I mean, that just another great one. And I love like Antoine, Aiden with their memories. Like, how do they remember? This is from a deleted scene.
I love this little community.
Yeah, it's so cool.
It's so fun.
So yeah, so if anybody hasn't been to the forum, obviously to look into this, we have a section, obviously many sections, but just under television specials, and there's all different types of promo videos, clips, all those kind of things.
There's one more.
There's another Easter egg. Yes, we'll go back to that, which is. Go ahead. This
is the video game from Toy Story 2 that they were playing in the very beginning.
That's at the opening sequence where Rex is playing
Buzz.
As Buzz, and he's like, I'll never be able to do it. Right, he's flying through the opening scene. Well, that's from Toy Story 2. So pretty cool little find there. All right, so that was that. Yeah. That was the Easter eggs. Definitely loaded in there. I'm sure there's more.
Oh, I mean, I'm going to keep finding some.
Yeah, we got to keep digging. More. We got to keep digging. We got to find some more. And I've seen other people kind of mention some other ones they thought it was. You thought you saw the...
It's so hard when you see things in the background. You really need such a high resolution image.
I'd love to be able to zoom into it.
To zoom in. So I know it's almost so hard until you get the DVD to really be like, wait a second.
Right. You can definitely
that book says, Purcell, or that book says Ramped,
Right. Right. Yeah. All those little things. You had thought you saw, this is what I was trying to come up with, the actual Luxo ball, not on the side of the train or not on the Battle Store box.
I actually saw a ball that was a yellow ball, about that big, and had a blue stripe. Didn't have a red star on it.
That was the problem.
But I didn't know if the red star was on the side down. So.
But it's always on both sides.
I know, but I just didn't know. Could be just a model.
The other thing that I wanted to talk about, we had mentioned it in the review as well, but going back to the soundtrack with Giacchino, I actually really wanted there to be a soundtrack, because there was an official soundtrack digital release for Toy Story of Terror, and that Giacchino also scored. And I really was hoping that this one would be coming out as well, just because I really wanted that moment, that Danny Elfman-esque moment. I wanted that. I thought that one would have been really...
Do you think it's because this one didn't have enough musical accompaniment?
Yeah, it could have been. It could have been. I mean, it definitely relied more on sound effects and a little bit less on the punchiness and all those kind of things. So that Toy Story of Terror had. You never know.
Another thing that people have been telling us about, and that we've also been seeing online, is the horn that Angel Kitty plays when she plays her little trumpet.
Yeah.
I also wanted to mention this. Another thing that I really enjoyed from the film, and this has to do with lighting and animation and stuff and simulation. But did anyone notice that the whole short got darker and darker and turned more purple, like the color of the cleric, as the cleric was gaining control and getting crazier and crazier? The whole room was purple. Right as he was getting like purple, it was like it was turning into the cleric's world.
Oh, that's
Watch
cool.
it again, and you'll notice how everything went from light, and then kind of went to like a little darker orange. Then it went to like a gray blue, and then it was purple right before the light turns on.
Okay.
And it's when the clerics was getting the craziest.
Yeah.
Just watch the background lighting, but the whole background is purple.
Wow.
I know.
We lived together. You didn't tell me that one.
Mind blown.
That was a good one. So somebody had mentioned, is it me or does the animation get better every time? Toy Story of Terror blew me away with the lizard, but seeing a slightly older Bonnie was just incredible. Yeah.
We also, a couple of our readers had written to us and said that they love how the plastic, because all these characters are action figures.
Right.
And how they just moved perfectly. Like it wasn't like going to be like any of the squash and stretch that we're anticipating for Inside Out. It was like great imagery. Like it was like perfect.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
It was real, I should say. I can't even speak now that I blew my mind.
Yeah. Just crazy stuff. And I guess just overall another great short,
Mhm.
another great special, and just
Now, to interrupt you, do you
yeah.
think this is going to happen again next year? Do you think they're working on another TV special? I think so.
Well, one of the questions that had come in, and what somebody had said, is that they were hoping that the world might expand. And this was actually a question posted on the forum as well. Do you think that the world is going to continue to stay with just these television specials for just Toy Story, or are there other areas?
Monsters University.
Well, we know there are the Monsters University series of shorts, but how about outside of even those two? If there's another series,
The one that we haven't seen.
well,
Oh, sorry.
here we go. Every time we talk about it, if there's a Google Hangout, our cat monster has to show up and make an appearance. So she just happened to walk by there. So
sorry about that.
So that was a good. I liked that question. It was kind of thought provoking as far as what is
new, like a new characters we don't even know yet, and a whole new storyline.
Well, maybe not even ones we don't know. Like they said that they would love to see a Brave. It was Maxie on the forum, who does great stuff. Always happens to find things really early. Said she'd really like to see a Brave Christmas special. And
yeah, I'd like to see that.
You think? I'm going to actually pull up that post here in just a second because it was really cool. Well, that's the gist of it. I don't need to pull it up. But like, I don't know. Would they ever do anything with Ratatouille?
I don't think so.
I don't either. But I think the Toy Story world, it makes so much sense.
Well, I think the Monsters world makes sense too, though.
It absolutely does. It absolutely does. The Toy Story world, though, kind of what,
But do you think it's because it's easier to add new characters, new toy characters, and new monster characters because it's kind of more fun, lighthearted? It's easier.
Sure.
Like not saying that it's easier, but just saying that there's more liberties, like more story, like more places you can go with it.
Right. Well, like we had talked about with Dan, the Pixar fan, he on other ones and in the forum, he's mentioned that there's so many different story points, like an antique store and all that, because that was a great idea. And like, like a doctor's office toys. There's so many different things that you can do with toys and the Toy Story world, because all you have to do is find a location to take. It's not like it's this easy, not like all you have to do, but you have to find a location for Bonnie or someone to take those toys to, or to have somewhere that they're going. And it just has to break off into these sections. And there's almost infinite things that you can do. And people still want to keep seeing Buzz and Woody and all those different scenarios. So
as much as I love Buzz and Woody, I mean, I really appreciated that they took a back seat in the short.
You mentioned
I know, but I'd like to see it again, because I mean, they are so loved, and it's not saying I don't like them, because I really do like them.
Right.
But it's just I like where how these stories go.
Right.
So everyone watch the short again and watch the lighting in the background. It changes color.
That's
it gets purple at the end when the cleric is gaining rain. It's all purple background.
I love that.
Watch it. I'll watch it with you tonight.
Yes, we will. In the text where we didn't have the screenshot, I loved the Star Wars reference of I find the lack of armor disturbing.
Yeah.
Isn't that what he says? Disturbing.
I said disgusting.
Yeah, disgusting. And then, of course, obviously, it's a throwback to the first Star Wars, where the gentleman is doubting Vader that they're going to get these stolen plans back, and he's using the Force to choke him, and he says, "I find your lack of faith disturbing." It's just so great that it's like a nice little throwback to Star Wars there. I mean, is there a time during a day that there isn't a Star Wars reference that comes up? So pretty cool.
So yeah, that's our review.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other thoughts or comments that you want to throw in regards to Toy Story: The Time Forgot?
No, just I really hope we get more merchandise. I really, really, really hope that there's tons of extras on the DVD whenever it's released.
There will be.
Especially about like the lighting, the animation. I'd really like to know more about that.
Lighting, animation, music,
and more about like if there's video of Steve Purcell recording the cleric's voice.
Oh, I want it so bad.
Awesome.
I know, I want it so bad. Obviously, like we talked about before, he did the voice for the Crow in Brave, and what was he in Brave? The role.
The Crow.
No. The what did he do? Wasn't he the production or
The co-director?
That's it. The co-director.
I was like, The Crow, you just said it.
No, I was talking about his role, and for some reason I was
Wow.
thinking Crow, and that's all that was getting stuck in my head. But yeah, the co-director of Brave. But yeah, just he has that knack for that little bit of that kooky voice, and it's so crazy because when you hear him talk, he doesn't sound anything like that.
No.
He really gets that voice going when he gets.
It actually really, this short has me really excited for what's to come for the future with him. Like, I'm excited to see more about
Right.
his work. It's funny because with so many of these directors that are coming and, you know, the films that we see, I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like there's so many elements from these different directors that I'm excited to see, you know, what's next.
Right.
So now with Steve, I'm like, okay, yeah, I want to see more. But it's weird because I want to hear his voice too,
Right.
as these like kooky characters.
So, okay, so the toys, this is another comment that we had come in from Animation Nation. The Toy Story shorts and movies is good for its classic toys being brought to life and its incredible stories and funny movie references. So it sounds like they're agreeing that they're going to continue it with the Toy Story side of the franchise. And I tend to agree with that too, for sure. So, okay, well, that about wraps up our quick little review of the Toy Story That Time Forgot television special. We certainly hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. And from the comments and feedback that we got, especially when we were live tweeting last night and helping people figure out the dates when it was replaying, if they said, oh, no, I missed it.
My DVR.
Yeah, something with
Yikes.
their DVR, right. So it seems like by far the reception on this was just phenomenal and very exciting. Just to see another special like this hit the television airwaves. It's also really weird. I'm going to throw one more thing out there. It's also really weird because when a movie hits the theaters, the time that you get that feedback is quite stretched out. But once this hits television and you've got people using the hashtag Toy Story The Time Forgot, and you get people posting images and videos on Instagram and all these other sites, it's so amazing to see how fast and furious the comments and feedback come in.
What did companies do without Twitter like 5 years ago
I have no idea.
when hashtags like didn't exist?
I know, it's literally free marketing for companies to get this type of information and immediate feedback on what they're
It's
doing.
amazing.
Yeah, really cool. It's almost like, I know it's not, but it's almost like you can get like that live audience feedback as if you were recording it or showing it live. Really cool, really cool. So anyways, that's our review. We give it a 9 out of 10. We certainly hope you loved it. The animation.
I don't know why I gave it a
lighting-
9 out of 10. I mean, I could give it a 10 out of 10. I guess I'm giving it a 9 out of 10 because I wish it was a little longer.
That's the same reason for me. Yeah. It's just like, and again, if it goes any longer, you're starting to move into potential movie territory.
Yeah, well, you don't want it that, but maybe I'd like 35 minutes.
No, you know what I would like? Here's what I would prefer. A 30-minute,
No commercial.
no commercial special. Then I would feel much better. And it's not like the commercials were bad. We got to see the awesome Battle Source Toys commercial that was
Ooh,
included in there.
And I'll give it a 10 out of 10 if we get the merchandise.
You mean more of the Thinkway ones? More of the Mattel ones?
No, we need the backpack in the Disney store
Right.
or an Angel Kitty.
Definitely an Angel Kitty.
Get those two at the Disney store so I can go buy them up.
I'm also going to say that
Or a Battlesaur shirt. You know, it's just the emblem.
I
here.
need that. Holy cow, I never even thought of that one. That is
Shouldn't
awesome.
have said anything.
Someone spoiled a Christmas gift that they could have surprised me with. So the other thing is, the Mattel versions, they should have sold those Raptorian guards in a 3-pack. You can't only have one Raptorian guard.
No, you have to have at least 3.
If you're going to have a battle, you need to have 3 of those bad guys.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you need those. So, anyways, we're babbling on. That's our review of Toy Story The Time Forgot. We absolutely loved it. Like I was saying, animation totally blew us away. Direction, amazing. Thinking about the story process and seeing how they could storyboard all that out. Our minds were just going wild last night. Just everything from very beginning to very end we loved. Loved the song that they threw in, all the development for the characters. The list just goes on and on. So certainly to Pixar, the feedback says it enough. We're just going to throw our final comment on there as well that basically says congratulations. to the entire crew that worked on this. Fantastic job. We cannot get enough, and bravo. So until next time, be sure to stay tuned to pixarpost.com all week for the latest Pixar news. And I'm signing off right now as TJ.
And I'm Julie.
See you later, everybody. Bye-bye.
Welcome to Battleopolis.